We need something to compare.
I think the time frame is more of the crunch.
You keep coming up with this, everything's an emergency, every
Well,
time we have a problem.
We're still in
So if our
hurricane, we're still
computer
in hurricane
system goes
season.
down, that's not an emergency?
She's telling you we're
It's
having
not
trouble with this
down,
thing coming back
Why
online.
can't we get more than one estimate?
Do all
But
five.
we're required to get more than one
All right,
estimate. We're required
then
to
how
get
about,
three.
okay, if we get another estimate, all right, let's do this. If you want us to get another estimate, you make a motion that we get a second
I
motion.
shouldn't have to make a motion,
And hold on,
it's policy,
hold on.
it's
I'm
procedure.
just trying to get you to, so that when it takes place, that you understand it. Make the motion that we get another quote on it. If we get another quote and it's less, then we go with them. If it's the same or more, then we go with this one.
That's not the way the process works.
We're in a time frame here. We're in hurricane season still, and we're talking about the system going down and not coming back up.
I can't buy that.
Well, we're not asking you to buy it. We're asking you to.
Well, I'm
consider
saying
the
if you don't
town's
get
needs.
more estimates, then we're not doing it right, we're doing it wrong. I think we should do things right, that's what everyone says they want to do.
Well, I'll second your motion.
Okay, I have a second on the floor to replace the system with GatorWorks. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I oppose.
I'm gonna oppose too, because I would like to see two more quotes. We need to get 3 quotes on everything that's done.
Not anymore.
That's standard operating procedure.
It's more legal.
I remember quite a few meetings that you've taken just one estimate because it was a time.
That's
crunch,
not
and you
true.
passed it. Yes, it
Madam
is
Mayor,
true, and
next
it's been done
subject,
multiple times.
That shows an example.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and get
Make a
those
mistake.
quotes, and if the system crashes, nobody gets their water bills and nothing goes on.
Now you're not being.
I'm telling you the truth. That's an emergency situation.
And it's,
Everything's an emergency.
and it can pass with the three. It can pass with the 3 ayes.
It could pass,
It
but
could go on record as
it's
2
not
nays, but
legal.
it'll still pass.
All right, let's just move on to the department reports. Do we have anything to report for administration, maintenance, parks and rec, public safety, building, zoning, and water?
Water definitely got stuff.
All right, go ahead.
Plant number 1, November 24, we have applied for our permit for the DEP to proceed on with getting that all back online, and waiting on a response from them. They've got a lot of change of staff, so we're not really certain what kind of time frames they're going to get back to us. Hoping for soon, but obviously it could go long a couple months. So that's the status on plant 1. Plant 2, with the hurricane come through, tree branch fell and busted the compressor housing and pump system on the hydro tank, and it's burned up the pump. We've set it up temporarily, moved it inside, and got it on a different pump right now. We have filed the claim with the insurance company on it. We've got to finalize the hardline plumbing to get everything from temporary back to a permanent status. And then, and hopefully insurance is going to cover most or all of it. They've been pretty eager so far to work with us. I think that's all the water we had on that. Am I missing something?
Do you have anything for administration, Belinda? Anything else?
Now, at this time, the financials are still under construction. The week before last, Howland Jones came in and did the 2022 audit. Been all week with us. Did some adjusting. They requested some copies of some things, so we've given it to them. We need to make a few more adjustments. By the end of, by the second week in October, Howland Jones will have you, for the first time ever, have our 2023 information, so that we're not a year behind. So at this time, we're cleaning up the books, all the things that are just hanging out there that shouldn't be there, and so we should have those fixed by the end of the month.
Now, with that being on board the way it is, will their fees go down?
we're hoping, they're supposed to be giving me an invoice to let me know in the past because we didn't have everything done and they had to create everything on their end. It costs us about $10,000 every year to do the taxes, the audit. So this year, because everything is up to par and I can give it to them in a timely manner, they shouldn't have any problem and it shouldn't cost us an arm and a leg.
Might even pay for a computer and the savings there. Who knows? We'll see.
What was that?
I don't recall paying $10,000 for an audit.
Last year, you spent $10,000, a little over $10,000. The first part was $6,000, then they came back. You had to spend $3,000 on them. Yeah, you guys had been spending that much on them.
Those should have been in your financials that you received.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, I've done that.
I mean, I'm shocked as well, because it shouldn't cost you that much.
It wasn't that much before. I don't
Well,
understand why.
I understand why they charged us, because when they have to take all your raw data and can put it in their
Well, I
system.
understand time consumption.
Well, hopefully this year it won't be because it's already, it's completed. All the bank statements are reconciled, the quarterly, the only thing I have to wait on in October is the quarterly payroll report and the bank statement for September. Once those are reconciled, I'll upload those and we're done. Everything will be given to them to do our 2023 audit.
Starting in October.
By the second week in October, the first week we get the bank statement and I have until then I can do the quarterly report and that's all they will need.
Are they gonna come in and give us a
No.
little synopsis of what's
They will,
going on?
they're gonna come in and give us the synopsis on the 2022 audit, which should be finished in the next couple of weeks. And then they already know, they've already looked at the books that I've gotten done so far on the 2023, and we're up to, they already know I know what to send them. Everything is good. We're now, since we reconciled everything, we've gotten all of the missed deposits, all the missed checks that weren't posted. So,
So they'll be coming back soon to do 2023.
Yeah, and thank you, Belinda. I know you did a lot of work working with them,
You-
and I appreciate that.
You certainly have. You've done an amazing job with the records in here in our county, and just amazed at the years of stuff that's so in disarranged that you've actually got it back in orders now, and by yearly and monthly at least, and we can now hope we can start fine tuning that or more. But you've done a lot of work here. There's been a tremendous amount of work been done inside this office in the last several months.
the resolution book is up to par. The ordinance book is up to date, so there will be a copy for the public to review, and I'll make sure it stays on the back here with the rest of the books. That should be coming as well by the end of the month, the end of the fiscal year. So we will also be starting to have the minutes. And so you guys will be able to see exactly what comes on the table. The law says that I have to keep the minutes per lifetime, but the information in the packet is only for 2 years. So we need to backtrack and get some of the stuff in with that. But those will also be readily available to the public for review. Okay?
And Gator Works has also been working on the website, and they have it up, but they're still under construction somewhat. So that's good too.
So
So
public
stuff will
information is going to be quickly available.
Right,
to everybody.
notices, announcements, they'll be easy to get, which is great. That will cause so much less stress. Right, anything else for that? All right, under announcements, again, we have the children's food table coming every other Friday about 1:30. It's $7. And the next time is on the 15th and then the 29th. Just make sure you bring a sturdy box to put things in. And you can sign up for the email of the water bills, get them faster, and it produces less cost for our town. And the next Waukesasso Water meeting will be here September 20th, which is next Wednesday at 1 o'clock. Everybody is invited to attend. And the advertisement for our town attorney will be in this week's paper on the 14th and in next week's paper, I believe the 21st. It's already advertised online. And other than that, we're back to public comments. Did anybody, oh, did you have something?
I want to ask this, can we do the workshop, like Mr. Porter said, and get this town involved?
With
To
the,
see if we want to stay in city or unincorporated?
The problem with the workshop, it doesn't work that way.
Okay.
The public's not allowed to participate. in
Or
the
just
workshop.
us?
Just
Okay.
us.
Excuse me, that's opposite of what actually is.
Yes.
A workshop is for the people. And the council sits as participants along with the people in the workshop because you're looking for opinions from the people.
If that be the case, I guess we'll look into it and see what that is. But according to Russell Meeks and Mary DeGraw, it was always been workshop with no public participation.
You can't do that.
who would I,
We never had a workshop, Sam.
We do have workshops. We have workshops.
every year budget workshops.
We did the budgets at the regular meeting. At the budget meeting, closed that meeting, and then started the regular meeting.
It wasn't a budget workshop that you did every year before the term? Should have been. Mr. Fuller, who would I ask about that question if we can be unincorporated before we have this meeting? I would need to ask that. You said there's somebody I could
The
ask
tax collect,
that you didn't want to give the answer to. So who would I reach out to if,
For the taxes, that would certainly be
no, for the unincorporation?
for the unincorporation.
To see if we're allowed to do it. You said you knew the answer, but you didn't want to give it. So who would I ask that?
Well, it would be department, oh, it escapes me right now. I can tell you before the end of the meeting. I'll think of it in a second. Secretary of State, excuse me.
Secretary of
Jason
State?
Whistler too, or not?
No.
Okay.
When you're talking about incorporation, because you're incorporated with the state.
Right,
And
okay.
so that would definitely be
Yeah,
the.
so I want to ask that question first before we go setting up a workshop to see if we're allowed to do it.
Yeah.
Because obviously if we're not allowed, that would be a whole waste of time. So, okay, so I'll get in touch with them, answer that question, and then
Yeah.
we'll look into doing that for sure, and we'll get back.
I would like to know what, I would think the city needs, I think the city would get involved and come in. You know what I
Right,
mean?
I mean, if there's that many people that are having questions about it, I certainly think we need to find out. Yes, sir?
Okay, would the initial inquiry into whether it's feasible or not be part of the workshop so that everybody would hear it at the same time? Instead of making one phone call earlier to say, well, they say we couldn't do it, so we don't need a workshop. If they came up, they can answer those questions for you, and everybody would have the answers at the same time. If the answer is no, then everybody knows at the same time. If the answer is yes, then there's a further discussion on whether you want to do it or not.
Yeah, if it's that easy to get hold of anybody and getting questions answered, absolutely. But so far, my experience of getting any questions answered seems to be a joke. Because you try to call people and email people and they don't ever get back to you on anything. But yeah, I agree with you and that would be great. And I wonder all the time, how are anybody supposed to get answers from these people who don't respond to anything? It's crazy.
Your first statement was just to find out if the town's eligible to do that. That's what she was talking about, find out, not the answer to do it all, was to find out if it's what eligibility is for the town to unincorporate. If it is an option, then we should have a workshop to discuss it.
Yeah.
The town has articles of incorporation, and they're incorporated with the state, with the Secretary of State. So you look at your articles of incorporation and see why it was incorporated. Likewise, what do you do to get out of incorporation? That part is all dependent on your articles of incorporation and what allowed you the status to be incorporated.
Yeah, because our daddy's dead and gone, so he don't know. He's the one that incorporated it.
He's got it.
Did anybody else have
I
something?
just want to follow up on that. I understood what the way it was put forward. I just think that because it was a topic of conversation and people want to know, is it, and if it's not, why not? All of those questions should be answered in that workshop. So you ask a question during the workshop, all of those questions get answered so everybody can see it and understand it.
So what you're saying basically is if I got a no back, we should still have a workshop so that we can discuss, okay, I understand, for sure. Yeah, we could do that. And you had something?
I'm not saying I want to or I don't, I just need it.
Information, you want information, and there's a lot of people who have been talking about it want information, and that's understandable.
Going back to stage into the new business, was building officials. We talked about building officials. We got quotes from Safe Built, and we got Universal Engineering doesn't really want to participate, and we got Jack out of Cedar Key has offered us a rate. Jack is like $100 an hour, and no charge to the town. It's $100 an hour, and it's based on as need basis. If someone applies for a permit, we spend it up to him. He does the process, he does the inspections, and he passes or fails it, and he moves it forward. Now, there is some cost for the town, so that, it needs to be, the fees need to be accordingly, a percentage rate over the cost, so that the town can cover their paperwork and any miscellaneous stages. I think Jack is the way to go, because he's, Safe Built is similar in prices, but their fees are wind up being triple and 3 times as much as the county was charging the time it's over with. And
Yeah, because you're paying them whether you use them or not.
Right.
Where the other one, you're just paying when you use them.
right, just only when we need to use them. It's not so it won't be any cost to the town, won't be any fees for the town. The town will actually make a little bit of money off of it, and some things, there will be some impact fees that we could include, and eventually, once we can find out what those things were, that would qualify for that, so the town could have build reservoirs of money for certain things. Impact fees would be like water, for people that haven't paid water all this time, and now the town, people who have, there's certain things that can come in play there. But my suggestion is to go with Jack, which is the most effective for the town and for the growth of the town.
Does that have to be decided tonight? I'd like to look at that a little bit.
I think we've already talked about it once already. I think it needs to be decided tonight. Our time is, we won't have time to move back again before the county. It's not a cost for the town. I make a motion that we use Jack. It doesn't cost the town a dime. The town actually profits off all the services that's being provided.
We need to know more about it.
We're hiring a building official and an inspector that's paid for by the permitting fees, not by the town. The town has no cost in it. The Safe Built, the fees are, we have to pay them $200 for every inspection. We have to pay them $200 every time you turn around for something. And the time they don't have a minimum. Well, they do have a minimum. It's $200. It's a 2-hour fee on everything they do. And when you go back through to the city of Bronson, I think it was Bronson and Williston are using them. Is that correct? It's using Safe Built?
I know Bronson is, Chiefland might be too.
Yeah, and both of them are saying how expensive, how much more expensive that is versus the county's fees. Most economic fees are through Jack out of Cedar Key. He'll come down one day a week and do what he needs to do, and just like Bronson does, and they got their stuff scheduled one day a
I
week.
believe Bronson's is paying $20,000 to $25,000 a year for their services.
Yeah.
So the town can afford to throw that money out the window.
There's no, our town has no fees to pay for this. This guy's he's been working with City Key real nice. He's worked with the building department of Dubuque County for quite a long time. I don't see where it's an option for us to be paying $25,000 versus paying nothing for a building official. I don't see what the questions
Yeah,
are.
it seems like a no-brainer.
Well, I'd like to get some more information personally myself. It's kind of blindsided me. I think we should probably table this until our next meeting.
So what information are you looking for?
Well, the whole situation, you know, like, I'm not really that well versed on what he's talking about. I'm getting some ideas, but certainly we can investigate this and educate ourselves on exactly what's going on, so we can make a more qualified decision.
Yes, Mr.
See,
Fuller?
why not be voting on something we don't know of? Well, he said this, and, yeah,
Okay, can we listen to Mr. Fuller? He
My
has
question is, are all these things in writing? Because such a proposal should be in writing, and because you also need to know qualifications for the different people.
We do have the proposals from City Jack's staff.
We should have it in the folder.
Is that something we get?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I would say that the council needs to read those and see, before they vote, see how, which
Well,
is,
it's actually not an item that really has to be voted on. This is an item that's, we're not hiring the man under the payroll through the town. This is a service he's providing to the town and getting paid through for our permitting fees. So it's basically this is an option that's free for the town by using this service versus using Safe Built, which is going to be a $25,000 fees for the town every year. And all the others had a higher fee than that. It was just not even considered, even pursued, even getting the place.
Yes.
How many people would it really affect? Who's building? It only
Right.
matters who's building.
That's right. That's why we got somebody that would do it based on our needs, not charging us
building?
fees.
who's doing?
Just do, I'm done.
well, the only reason I said that is just because somehow the town needs to know the qualifications of the different people offering services. Because it may be a cheaper option, but is the person qualified? And maybe very qualified, but somehow they need to know. And by the way, when I was suspended, so to speak, before I resigned, you said there had to be an ordinance associated with the hiring of an individual, and so.
Well, at that
what made-
time, it was being run through the county, so
Right.
there wasn't a need for you.
Right. And
So
you
that
also-
made no sense.
Well,
And
at that
you were hired,
time,
you were hired paid out of town budget, not out of off the permit fees and off of other things. You were paid off the town budget.
well, to show you correctly, even though I'm definitely not asking for the job back, but the fact is that I was basically doing the town a favor because the fees for that was actually coming out of the application fee. And that's what you're proposing now, is that the fees come out of the application fee. And so you're doing the same thing with this person that you were doing with me. But now I was planning, I was not building, I was planning, which is quite different. Because building specification comes out of a building department. But planning comes as a result of the land development regulations that the town adopted along with the comprehensive plan.
Right.
And so
Mr.
these are
Mayor.
two different positions.
And you gave, there should be your qualifications in the file in here somewhere, is that true?
Well, the qualifications that they asked for, yes, and I was asked to do it actually on a temporary basis, but I ended
I
up
don't
being.
see, I see where you were cut a check, but I see no other paperwork for you.
Was it voted on at a board meeting?
It was voted on at the board meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just confusing because at that point there was an interlocal agreement with the county, so I didn't know what the
He
need for
didn't have
that.
nothing to do with what the county was doing. He was doing zoning and land development regulations.
But nevertheless, all I'm saying is that you probably need to look at qualifications before you make a decision. And it should be written qualifications as opposed to qualifications that are spoken by any one person.
We'll make a motion, we table this for the next meeting and get some stuff in writing.
There's already a motion on the table.
Make the motion we adjourn.
There's already a motion on the table for the position you filled by Jack. Jack was also recommended by David, I believe, the county building department. He highly recommended him that he comes through because he went into Cedar Key and took it over. And you see what Cedar Key is. It's it's majorly bigger than us and a lot more there. And they are much more stringent building codes there than we are here, all the way around. They are definitely more.
I agree with Russell. Let's get it in writing and bring it back the next one.
Okay.
What about you, Don?
Okay, so we'll table that till the next meeting and you guys can get the things in order. Yes, sir?
Excuse me, are you taking estimates again from other people so you can compare it? Or are you just going with the one that?
No, we've done that. We've done that. These are the only two that's given any reasonable numbers.
Do you know
One of them's
anybody else?
25,000 One of them's 25,000 and one of them is no cost to the town.
You ain't getting in this mess.
One of them, the cost comes out of 10 million feet,
Correct.
so we don't see any balance on that at all.
Correct.
Well, the town receives about, I think the town should charge about 20% of whatever the services are, so the town can cover their paperwork.
I don't live here, but I'm a builder and I've been through all
Yeah.
this.
I think the town has to bring some money on it, because we gotta handle the paperwork of it and the records of it. And, so it would be foolish not to have a fee a percentage that the town gets off of that. So it's actually something that brings in revenues to the town versus, but again, it has to be on an as-needed basis. Everybody
Right.
wants you to hire them on the demand, weekly and monthly stuff that we don't have here.
Why pay 25,000 when you can get it for free and make a little bit of money off of it?
That's
Seems
exactly-
logical.
Seems like the way to go. I don't see any reason why not.
Did you have a comment?
I wanted to ask about, first I wanted to commend Belinda, you've been doing a great job. I know what you've been faced with, and it's amazing what you've done, and you basically have saved the town. Between you and Therese, it's amazing work. Zim, I want to compliment you too for the fixing the water plant, or we would have been out of water overnight. You've been out there at 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, doing things while everybody's going to sleep, and I commend you for that. That's giving back to the town. And one last thing, some of the signs around town, I realize this may be FDOT, but some of them are unnecessary and they're cluttered and they're not kept up. Mainly the truck route signs. Like, why would you want a truck to come in here? You want it to stay on 19 or 24. We don't have delivery service to the Clam Jack anymore. We don't have these things for truck routes to come through the town. I've seen trucks come in and turn around because they can't even get down Commissary Road because of the tree growth. So can we get rid of those signs that say truck route this way? Children playing when we don't have children except at the schoolhouse. There's just some signs that don't make sense.
We can look into that, and there are some that are leaning and need to be cleaned up, but we can look into that. I know a letter was wrote, I believe, in 2014
In reference to this.
in reference to those truck route signs, but I don't know what the result of that letter was because of the filing system here. So all we found is that letter, but we can reapproach it and look at the different signs and certainly fix the ones that are leaning.
Because they've just been neglected.
Yeah, so we can put that on our list of to-dos. Did anybody else have any comments or questions?
Just speaking on what you said, right there on Commissary Road as well, there's one that's been there for, I don't know, probably 8 years or so, and it's one that used to say 25,
Yes.
but Frank Watson is dead now. He went and painted over it and turned it into a one, which he knows about. So,
Okay.
I think it should be 15 personally.
but it was a 25 that Frank, who wasn't a part of the board or anything himself, literally went out there and painted over.
It's 15 over by me when you come off the highway.
Yeah.
But are the signs Otter Creek's or are they the county? And I know the county is the ones that changes signs and puts new signs.
I personally don't know,
You
so
know,
I
we
would have
have
to
a
look into
sign
that.
department at the county that does nothing but signs.
County
A
does,
sign department.
county does them, and they take care of the certain streets, but some of the streets we have to pay for them.
But we're only got one street.
Well, there's other streets, but there is, they're not
I
paid.
mean-
But the signs are, what signs are in the counties, we have to pay for.
But the county owns everything except this road right here.
One road.
Right, which is the road he's talking about.
We only own this one road.
But it still needs to be replaced.
Yeah, because everything else the county owns except one road.
And
They only own this road right here. The city owns that
the
road.
signs aren't, they're not gonna be charging us.
Well, I know that, but I was
thousands of
just
dollars.
saying, you know,
They'll replace most of
if
them.
we call the
maintain them.
county, they should come and replace our signs.
Yeah, we'll look into it.
I've
Yeah.
asked about the RV site signs too. The blue ones with the directional arrows, you can get them for 19 and 24. But he told me to wait. And it's been a couple of years, I haven't been back.
Okay, so you're still waiting.
Yeah, so we're still waiting. But that'd be another question I simply put in the park. Just campground directional signs?
Yeah.
I don't think they're not very big.
Was there anything else?
That would be-
Signs everywhere, signs.
So, signs that you need, not keep signs you don't need.
Okay, so we're done with that. We'll check it out. Anything else?
I have a question. I've been away a couple of months and there's some construction on Third Street. I saw some leveling and dirt and all that, but is this the place to ask for that? Ask what's going on there or not?
You sure
Yeah,
good?
you can. That's my place right there.
Okay.
I plan on building an RV park there.
Okay. We brought in dirt and leveled it and all that stuff and, cause it
Well,
looks
I
higher
brought
than
in
it
dirt for the
was.
septic system.
Okay. All right, I'll talk with you after the meeting.
Okay.
They did a great job clearing it.
Yeah.
Did anybody else have
A lot of
any
work.
questions or comments? All right, thank you all for coming out. Did you have something?
Yeah, in relation to that construction, the question is, is there an application in place to do that construction?
Yes, there is.
And who is it with?
I've got to apply for an RV park license through this, through the county, through the health department, and all the septic systems been permitted through the health department.
But is there an
That's as far as we've
application
gotten.
in with with the town of Otter Creek?
It was approved 4 years ago, we had built an RV park. And the application is waiting to go in, it's here, but obviously I'm just going to go ahead and hire my own building officials and move forward. Because if you count, this is only to stop me from doing my construction here tonight.
What is?
So, but I will, but the applications are here. I've already come in and turned in my paperwork on what I'm building. I've got, as far as we've got, I've not gone any further because I was waiting for us to hire an official so that we can go to the next step through the town.
The first step is if or not it violates the land development regulations. And the question is, was there even a simple environmental impact study, not the big one with the four-year degree? But the fact is that in the land development regulation, it states specifically that any tree that's removed from environmentally sensitive land or adjacent environmentally sensitive land over 16 inches then has to be recorded, and it likewise there has to be a plan for replacing or mitigating any damage done to any tree over 16 inches. And we know that there were tons of trees well over 16 inches. And the reason for that is the idea of both environmentally sensitive as to flooding and environmentally sensitive as to wildlife in general. And if that study hasn't been done, then your application cannot be complete But first of all those things have to be done before that application is approved. And so the question is, are we going by the comprehensive plan and the land development regulations or not?
I'm clearing my property. And I was told there was no permit required for me to clear my property, and we are planning on replacing some of the trees.
But there should be a plan in place in order to do that. It's not just something that you say, okay, I think I'll put 10 trees
I cleared
in.
my property 7 years ago. I've cleaned up a lot of the stuff that's been cleared. And I cleared off a little half-acre portion for my septic system, which I've applied for the permit through the health department on. And,
Wasn't there a bunch of lumber on it that had been milled
yes,
off of the trees?
yes.
Okay, is there any other questions? Because I believe this discussion can continue personally after the meeting. This doesn't have to do with anything.
Well, I think those have a lot to do with,
Okay, meeting adjourned.
all in favor?
Go to other meetings, you'll see it.
I wasn't talking about the signs and things there, or replacing because of that.
How you doing? You doing all right? Yes, ma'am. How are you? I'm doing good, good. That's good. Yes, sir. I appreciate you. You're a smart man.